Well, we're here today at the South Dakota State University hosted Summit League Cross Country Championships with former South Dakota State University coach Scott Underwood. And Coach, I still call you Coach. And if you could tell us a little bit about the history of South Dakota State University's cross country track and field program and the tradition. I mean, I know there's a lot of new runners out there, running, and they understand that there's a long line of runners and track and field athletes that have come before them. But if you could kind of go into a little bit of the specifics on what truly not only this cross country meet here today means, but the history that has come before them.
Yeah, South Dakota State's had a long tradition in cross country and track, but it started long before I started coaching. But Jim Emmerich probably was the one that really got it rolling, won a bunch of conference championships in track, and we had some good cross country teams, some All-Americans, and I think we were dual affiliates back then, maybe NAIA and the NCAA, and they had at a time when they actually sometimes could go to both meets or either meet. And then, so it started before I came, and then we had a few years there where we were, at least cross-country wise, we were down a little bit, and Jay Dirksen took over. And Jay Dirksen recruited me, and my roommate was from my high school. And that was his first year. 1969 was his first year at South Dakota State. So Jay revved up that tradition again, got it back rolling again. I think we finished second in the national meet my senior year. Then the next year they won the national championship. Then Jay left to go to University of Illinois, and then I came back to South Dakota State. So, I had grown up with some good cross-country teams, and I knew about the tradition, and the tradition helps tremendously, recruiting-wise. So I took over a good team and a good program. It was already in place. So I tried to keep it going, tried my best to keep it going. But the one thing that happened was we did start women's cross-country about that time. They were in the AIAW. We were in the AIAW when I first took over. The women's team was, and then the NCAA, I think in '81, started the NCAA championship for women, and we switched over to the NCAA. So that it started in about '81 but we did have some tradition, some cross country teams and stuff that competed in the AIAW before that. So that was the start of the women's tradition with distance running. Was actually when I came, because I took over the kind of a new program, and we started scholarships back then. So that's I think our '81 team won the national championship, and we had we just started with Title IX coming up. We just started having scholarships for women's cross country, and that was one of the reasons we had such a good team, because we got some scholarship money, could recruit some good athletes, and we got it started. So then through my tenure there, we were pretty competitive, all the way. It's hard to get both teams running well in the same year, but we had a lot of teams that placed in the top 3 at the national meet, a lot of teams that placed in the top 10, a lot of conference championships. So then, we switched coaches again. Then Paul Danger came in, who ran for me and kept things going. Then Rodney Haven comes in, who ran for me, kept things going. So, it's nice to see, because once you lose that tradition and stuff, it's hard to get it back. But what it does for a program is it attracts the right kind of people. It attracts people that, like, the team is more important than anything. And so they're team people. And you need team people in close meets when you're trying to win a championship. And you have the right kind of attitude if the team is the most important, and it's not just an individual thing for you. We had a lot of people turn down bigger scholarship offers from different schools because they wanted to be in a good team. Those are the kinds of things that make a difference. And it also kids will come here and they'll work hard, even though maybe they're not in the top 7, but they want to be part of it. So they stick with it. They hang in there. They run the miles. They get things, they get better, and all of a sudden they're in there helping you win a conference championship. They're making a difference when you needed one extra runner or something, because they were willing to hang on because they wanted their team people and they wanted to be part of the team. So in any sport, the tradition is way more important than a lot of fans and stuff realize. That it's just huge. So if you have a great tradition, you might not be the best coach in the world, but it's much easier to keep things going than if you're trying to start over and sell kids on trying to be on a good team when your teams have been not very good. But I could look back and, like when Jay Dirksen was before me and he had some good teams, it was easy to recruit people. So he gave me a good nucleus to work with, and then I kept going from there. So I was lucky. And then I had a high school coach that was probably the best coach that ever coached cross country, Al Halley, in the state of Minnesota. And so little did I know, I only ran cross country 1 year, but little did I know, how much I learned from him, and then how much I learned from Jay Dirksen. So I was lucky, and South Dakota State was a great place for me to coach and for me to run. It was just a perfect place, for me.
What is it like to now see, former athletes? You talked about Coach Stanger when he came back, coached the team, and then he passed the baton on to, Coach DeHaven, and to see all the tradition continue. What does that feel personally for you? And then, it's got to feel pretty good.
It feels good, and it's sometimes the people that best understand the tradition were the people that were here involved in it. You can bring in an outsider and they can do a good job and get something going, but the people that were actually here and experiencing it, they're the ones that really get it, And so I don't know, it was nice to have people that went through it themselves, because they understand. Like the conference meet was everything to us. We like to do well at nationals, but still, the conference meet for most kids, that's a lot of kids, that's the season, and there's years you won't go to nationals. And that's year in and year out, the conference is the biggest meet of the year to us, and it was to our coaches, and Rod treats it the same, and Paul treated it the same, and it's just, that's why it's great to be here today and be at the conference meet, because I know what the other meets are great, but the conference meet is like a whole different thing. And then to be able to try to come out and do your best when the chips are on the line, that's a fun thing about sports. And the conference meet is that meet for sure. And now that we're in Division I, II, it's even tougher to get to the Division I national meet than it was in Division II. So this is it for a lot of the kids. This is a big thing for them. And so to have a chance maybe to win the meet, to come experience that, just to have a shot at it, and then try to go out there and perform and see if you can get it done. And if you accomplish that, it's one of the greatest feelings in sports. It's it's fantastic. So I'm happy. I'm excited. We haven't hosted the meet in Brookings for a while, so it's great to have it back in Brookings.
I got one last question for you. There's been numerous times where you've been seen, jumping up and down, saying specific words to make your athletes respond. How did you do that? How did you know what would make your athlete respond in ways that would result in championships?
Well, I think that you kind of build your momentum in cross country. You need to build your momentum as the season goes along, and hopefully, obviously, everybody wants to peak at the conference, region, or national meet. So when you get to the conference meet, the other meets were, I didn't put a lot of importance on the other meets, and I wouldn't necessarily carry on very much until we got to a really big meet. So part of it is the people could see me and they understand that, hey, this is a big deal. This is a bigger deal than when we were running, even some of our big invitationals and stuff. Because, he wasn't running around screaming at us until we got to the conference meet. So I always felt that you can't have like a super performance week after week after week. You can't dig down that deep very often. So we would you know, you encourage your people, but you save the really, really strong encouragement for a conference meet. Maybe you got a chance to win the conference, and maybe you're not going to do that great at nationals, but you can win the conference meet. Well, so as a coach, I always felt that that would raise them up to a different level. And you know, you can't do it all the time, but you do it at the right time when it could really make a difference. Like, say the meet's close and you need 5 points. I personally, whether it was right or not, I felt I was good for 10 or 15 points at the conference meet if we really needed it. There was years where 10 or 15 points wouldn't make the difference and we wouldn't win. But there was years that, you know, I thought it would make a difference. Or at the Nationals, I thought it could make a difference. And so I was an excitable kind of a guy, but not all the time. And I think, you know, one year we were at the national meet and we ended up winning the national meet. Well, anyway, we were into the race 4 miles plus, and I was jumping. You know, I mean, at that time we had moved up into lead. We weren't in the lead earlier, and we moved up into lead. But anyway, I was jumping up and down. Well, I'm a distance runner. I had about a 10-inch vertical jump. Well, after the meet, I was talking to Rob Byer, and he says, well, Coach, you didn't have to say anything. When we saw you 30 inches off the ground, we knew we were winning because you can't jump more than 10 inches. So that kind of stuff. I mean, they know, sometimes, you know, they would know by the way I was acting that, yeah, we were winning this meet or had a chance to win this meet. And you know, you've seen people yell at competitors or their kids on their team, and all of a sudden they'll pass 3 or 4 people. So it can, you know, it can happen. And like I said, I enjoyed the big meets, and I was enthusiastic, to say the least.
Well, I'll tell you this, we look forward to seeing you jumping up and down today. And thanks so much for sitting down with me today.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a great meet. We're looking forward to it.
All right, thanks.